Good party people. Today I was thinking about how the hardest part of growth isn't leaving, it's staying for too long. And I actually did a reel about it on Instagram, and it hit really hard because I realized when I was in college, I was working towards a forensic science degree, which I graduated with. And after that, I was applying for jobs all over the place. I applied for jobs in Seattle. I was applying for jobs in Arizona. I actually went to those places to do interviews. I think I even did an interview in like Kansas City or something. So I was very proactive in like applying for crime scene technician and like forensic lab type jobs, which is what I wanted to go into. And meanwhile, I'm living in Montana. I graduated college. I worked at a bank for a while and then I worked at a hospital for a while. And part of the reason I stayed in Montana was because I was dating this guy. And I thought he was like the guy I was gonna be together with forever, right? So I was applying for these jobs for about 3 years, I want to say. Um, And as the years kind of went by, I wasn't going anywhere in my day-to-day jobs. I wasn't, advancing to management or supervisor. I was administrative assistant, or no, just administration for the hospital. And again, like I wasn't moving up, I wasn't getting raises or bonus. I mean, I guess you don't get bonuses in hospitals, but point is, I wasn't going anywhere. So as the years started to pass and I wasn't getting any of these jobs because as some of you know, 2008 was like when everything kind of crashed. So leading up to it, people would be interviewing me for like these forensic jobs, but then say, "Oh, well, we're on a hiring freeze right now, but you're you're on the like to be hired list, but we can't hire you until we have a position." And that happened a couple times, which was super frustrating. But anyway, I'm working these jobs. I'm not going anywhere. I end up, and people keep telling me, well, you don't have any experience. You don't have any experience. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to get experience if nobody will hire me? And so I end up volunteering at the police department. I'm working my like 9 to 5 hospital job. And I start to think, okay, well, if I can't get anywhere with forensics, I guess maybe I should go back to school. Maybe I should do pre-med. Maybe I should become, uh, oh gosh, like not a nurse. I was thinking a PA, a doctor, but then there was all these people that worked as like med techs doing like echocardiograms and stuff. So I was like, maybe I should be, a echocardiologist. I don't think that's what it's called, but you know what I mean, which actually would have been a tech school job. So, but I'm thinking, okay, well, I need more biology under my belt. I need more chemistry. I need more like lab science-esque so that if I do finally get a forensic job, I can be in a lab or I can be out in the field. Um, and so I was working my 9 to 5. I was volunteering for the police department, and I was also serving tables at night because I'm not sure if you remember this from prior videos, but I had bought a house in like my mid 20s. So I'm trying to pay this mortgage. I'm trying to lead a good life and my I wasn't getting the job that I wanted to get. I wasn't getting the career I wanted to be in, so I'm trying to make it work within the career I already have. Um, and of course, it's all kind of tied around money, right? Like, oh, I need a position where I'm making more money, which is why I went back to school because I'm like, maybe I could do pre-med, maybe I just go to med school. Um, and then there's also the boyfriend, right? I'm dating this boyfriend. He is perfectly content in Missoula. He loves the town. He has friends there. He loves his job. Like he is great. And I'm slowly drowning in like discontent because none of what I was doing was what I wanted to be doing. I didn't want to work in a hospital. I didn't want to be back in school trying to get another degree. I didn't want to be serving tables at night just to make ends meet and pay my bills. I didn't mind volunteering for the police department, but it was a pretty dull job. Like I wasn't doing much. And I was just basically spiraling the drain, right? Like, and feeling helpless and hopeless that, okay, this is the life that I was sold. Um, but it doesn't feel like a good life. It doesn't feel at all like a good life. It felt super restrictive and boring and it just wasn't for me. And when I finally left, I had a friend who was living in Jackson, Wyoming. She called me one day, asked me how I was doing, and I was honest with her. I was like, I am miserable. I was like crying all the time. I was super depressed. Um, and she says, "Well, why don't you move to Jackson? Why don't you just come here and ski for a winter and work as a banquet server? You'll make a ton of money." And money wasn't the motivation, but it was just like something different. And being able to ski every day, I'm like, huh, that would be kind of cool. So I filled out an application, I think online, and drove down there for an interview, saw my friend who was living there. I think before I even drove back, I already had the job. And as there was probably 2 weeks where I put in my notice and started packing and all that stuff. And I just remember feeling excited, feeling nervous about what's coming next. And when I got to Jackson, I felt relief. So the leaving part was super, super easy. I don't want to say easy. It was still difficult to leave the boyfriend, to leave my hometown, to leave everybody I knew. I had one friend in this place. So I shouldn't say it was easy. It felt right. It felt like the right time. It felt like the right move. It felt good. Everything about it felt good. And I didn't realize this for years and years, but as I've been growing and changing and moving through different careers and different places I've lived and different relationships I've had, I notice this pattern that I always tend to stay too long. I always think that, well, if I just work harder, I'll finally get the job I deserve. If I just pivot within my field and work harder, I'll get the raise I deserve. If I just put everything I can into my relationship and get married, have the kids, it'll all work out, right? If I just follow the path. And I just keep staying too long. And thankfully every time that length of time has gotten shorter and shorter. However, the lesson behind it, I keep getting that lesson. And thankfully, like I said, the time that I stay has gotten shorter and shorter. However, I've spent so much time living in that stuckness, feeling hopeless and helpless, and this isn't my purpose, this isn't my path. What am I doing? Where am I going? Why am I still here? And those questions come up, and I don't start answering them or I don't start leaving until it's been too much time has passed. The moment those questions came to me, I should have left then. Does that make sense? I should have had the, I'm not gonna say should have. I wish, I'm not even gonna say I wish because that's the whole lesson, right? Like I've been getting that lesson my whole life. Um, and I kept thinking, well, I'm loyal. I put pride in my work. I have integrity. So I'm gonna stay because that's who I am. That's who I am at my core. And it's only just keeps hurting me and keeps hurting me because it's not my path. It's not aligned with what I'm meant to do in this world. And I couldn't shake that memory and how I'm so thankful that I'm in a place this year where as soon as I feel the call to leave, I know I need to do it at that moment and not wait for something else to happen or because someone is I will make the decision to leave based on how I feel about it and not stay because of other people's wants, needs, desires, dreams, expectations. It'll all be what I want to do. And I'm excited to just kind of have this year wide open. You know, at this point, I am not tied to anything. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse to not take the next opportunity or the next leap of faith or the next move to somewhere. And it's really exciting. And I just wanted to jump on here and hopefully show you guys that every time I took the leap, I never regretted it. It was always the staying too long that is what I regret. And so I hope if you're in something right now and you know it's not right for you, like don't keep staying for whatever reasons you keep telling yourself. Anyway, have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow.